Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis are two of the most well-known governors of their each respective parties. Both of them have a few similarities as well, since they were both elected in 2018 and their coronavirus handlings have received both criticism and acclaim, and this has gained them a lot of press attention since the beginning of the pandemic back in 2020. So anyway, let's put these two candidates up together in a 2024 election prediction. And let's hop right in with their home states as usual. Gavin Newsom would win his home state of California by a safe margin, while Ron DeSantis would win his home state of Florida by a lean margin. Even though Gavin Newsom is being recalled in California, I believe he will win by possibly even a safe margin, since he actually is decently popular there, and California's really low threshold for recall petitions is likely the reason why he is being recalled in the first place, as well as the fact that the deadline for the petition was extended multiple times. But anyway, I'll make a video on that separate topic, and let's get into Gavin Newsom's safe states, including Hawaii, all the West Coast, Colorado, and the East Coast, along with New York, Maine's 1st District, Illinois, and Virginia, since Gavin Newsom is more of a neoliberal and establishment Democrat who would do very well in the suburbs across country. But if you look at the larger picture, Ron DeSantis would definitely win more of the blue-collar voters and possibly do decently with the suburbs, but not by enough, since Gavin Newsom would do quite well with them. And now we'll head into Ron DeSantis' safe states. Of course, most of the South. I believe South Carolina will be safe, along with Indiana, West Virginia, Missouri, Kansas, of course, Nebraska, except for Nebraska's 2nd, the Dakotas, and much of the Midwest as well. And there we have all these safe states. Let's head into likely states for Gavin Newsom. There should only be one, which is actually in New Mexico, and that will be all for Gavin Newsom. For Ron DeSantis, Alaska, Iowa, Ohio, Texas, and Maine's 2nd District will all be likely for Ron DeSantis. And now it's 209 for the governor from California and 219 from the governor of Florida. And let's head into some lean states. So I think that Maine at large will be lean for Gavin Newsom, along with New Hampshire, since they do pretty well with the white voters in both these states, along with Minnesota for the same reason. And I believe Nevada will be lean, but definitely closer than the margin that Joe Biden won it by. I could see Gavin Newsom winning it by a little over 1.5%, since Ron DeSantis could be the candidate that improves with the trends and the gains made by the GOP in recent cycles with Hispanic voters. Gavin Newsom will have only one other lean state, which will be North Carolina. Despite the fact that Gavin Newsom would do pretty well in the suburbs there, Ron DeSantis could definitely gain back some of those voters, since the suburban voters in North Carolina are actually pretty Republican. And Gavin Newsom would not be the candidate to turn out the black voters in order to win the state. So then we'll go into some tilt states. So Gavin Newsom currently is at 231, and Ron DeSantis is at 235. I'll get right into it with Wisconsin, which I think will go to Ron DeSantis, since Gavin Newsom would do pretty poorly in all the areas except for the cities. Ron DeSantis could win back many of the Wow County voters, since Gavin Newsom is a pretty good candidate for the suburbs, but in the end, these suburbs out, of course, on the southeastern part of the state are pretty Republican, much like in North Carolina. And with the blue-collar voters in the southwestern part of the state, Ron DeSantis could certainly win. I also believe that Nebraska's 2nd will actually very narrowly go to Ron DeSantis. Even though Gavin Newsom would do very well there, he wouldn't have a ton of appeal, I believe, to the area, and I think Ron DeSantis would be doing a lot better with white voters than Donald Trump, and that is why he would win Wisconsin and Nebraska's 2nd. So now we'll head into the other remaining states, which are Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These are a few hard calls to make, frankly, since Ron DeSantis could definitely do well with white voters, but we're not quite sure of that yet. For example, for all we know, in 2022, in the Florida governor's race, Ron DeSantis could bomb with the white suburban voters, and it turns out he might not do very well with them. But operating under the idea that he can, I believe he would win Pennsylvania, bringing him to 265 electoral votes. Also Arizona, despite the fact that Gavin Newsom has a sort of regional appeal there, as he is from California. But he would not do very well in the Phoenix areas and not well in Maricopa as a whole. I think that Ron DeSantis could turn out both the rural voters and the suburban voters as well and win it by a pretty narrow margin, though. It would not be a landslide. It would be like 0.5% or under. And that would make Ron DeSantis the next president in this scenario, 276, and Gavin Newsom has not yet surpassed Hillary Clinton's total of 232. He's at 231 currently. So I actually believe the rest of these states will narrowly go to Ron DeSantis, and I mean very narrowly. And here are the reasons why. So Georgia and Michigan, the Democratic bases in both these states are primarily rely on Detroit in Michigan and Atlanta in Georgia. And as mentioned earlier, Gavin Newsom is not super popular with minorities. And while he might do pretty well with them in California, he doesn't have a massive base outside of that. He of course, he did well in San Francisco and Los Angeles and California in 2018, but that was because his opponent was a Republican in the general election, so it doesn't really mean a lot. And he didn't even do that well there in the open primary in 2018. He actually barely won San Francisco and lost Los Angeles to its former mayor, who I'm not going to pronounce the name of right now because I'm not quite sure what his name was. I believe it was Antonin Villagerosa, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So he would not do very well turnout in Michigan and Georgia, and if Ron DeSantis campaigned well with the white suburban voters, he actually could win these states. Now, Michigan is kind of more of a stretch than Georgia since it was went by a pretty large margin to Joe Biden, but unlike Joe Biden, as I mentioned earlier, Gavin Newsom does not have the ability to turn on minorities, and I think that would hurt him in the end, and that would lead Ron DeSantis to win with 307 electoral votes, actually beating Donald Trump's 2016 margin, while Gavin Newsom would win only 231 electoral votes, underperforming Hillary Clinton's 2016 margin. And I believe that 232 electoral votes seems to be essentially the base if a Democrat actually performs decently. So Gavin Newsom would definitely be a subpar candidate unless he really boosted up his minority appeal in the meantime between 2021, the time this is being recorded, and 2024. So that's it. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Also, feel free to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when my videos come out. That would be pretty cool. You can also leave a comment in the comment section down below telling me what your prediction would be and any feedback for this video. And of course, video suggestions for the future are always welcome, as I've done a lot of 2024 predictions recently, so I could definitely use some more candidates. You can also check out the description where I have my Discord server, which you should join since I'm quite active on there. But that's it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.